Yes, my people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to AFTV. I'm joined by Turkish. What's going on?
Yes.
Hey, we've had a good weekend of sport.
We have. Can't complain. The boxing could have been better.
True.
But we got a knockout out of it. So.
And we were there.
We was there.
It was nice. It was a good atmosphere. You're right. It could have been better. But listen.
Who cares? We got the win. Tottenham dropped points. That was the main thing on Saturday.
Amen.
We just ended it with the fight.
Now, listen, obviously, guys, you can clearly see the title of the show today is Man United out, ? So are they out of the top four? We'll kind of look around, all dive around. Are they completely out of it? You know, their chances, and obviously where we are. Is it really down to just these two North London clubs with Arsenal and Tottenham kind of in a shootout really for that fourth spot? How possible is it? We'll look at some of the decisions Arteta's made leading up to this position. Obviously, we lost 3 games that people were complaining about against sides we didn't expect to lose 3, drop 9 points in total against. But things seem to be turning around. Could we have avoided dropping those points and the talk around that? We'll get into that, and then obviously, again, fourth spot and all the news around it. Let's go straight to the game and, well, Arsenal versus United. Let's just start with, we saw Thierry and Bergkamp there, legends returning, which for me puts a smile on my face. Those are the two, for me, my favourite players at Arsenal Football Club. Vieira's up there as well, but those are two. Those there, and they spoke with Saka and Emile Smith Rowe, which I found interesting. in the sense that they spoke about, Bergkamp was saying that you can tell your English boys and you understand the ambition, desire you need being in doing the Arsenal way and being English as well, and he liked that. So there's a lot of things I want to, obviously for you, Turkish, as well. Is it nice to see that legends are now being, I only got the reference of Thierry and Bergkamp, but being brought back to speak to this current squad of young players that are really holding up the team, hearing from, legends that built a lot of the legacy for me personally as an Arsenal fan.
I thought there was bad blood between the club and Henry and Bergkamp because of the whole Daniel Ek situation. And obviously Henry's made some comments this year about, if we don't make top 4, it's a failure. A lot of fans got on his back. I don't think Arteta was too happy about the comments, but they was there. And it seemed like they was there as part of the club. And listen, Henry and Bergkamp, they're legends. And when they connected with Daniel Ek, I could understand why they did that. Every Arsenal fan could probably understand why when you see the decline we've gone under Kroenke. But it's nice to see them in and around the club now, which for me means something must have changed. There must have been some sort of communication. Around the Super League times, I said, listen, I trust Henry, I trust Bergkamp, I trust Vieira, I don't know Daniel Ek, but I trust them three. So if them three are telling me that they're behind something that could potentially change the fortunes of Arsenal, I'm going to believe them, But obviously the Daniel Ek bid didn't materialise or didn't, go over the line. We're still with Kroenke, but Henry and Bergkamp are in and around the club. For me, that's a good sign. It might not lead to anywhere, but it's a good sign. Henry and Bergkamp in particular are two players that, even post-Arsenal career, they still demand and want the best for the club. So I trust them. Yeah, I agree. So it's good to see them in and around. I trust them. I trust especially Thierry in my life. Many people know I'm a massive fan of Thierry. But let's now, I'm mixing up my timelines here, but let me just quickly go back before. That's what Hassan Ahmed says. Do you think that Arsenal is leading top 4? So let's look at it. Now we look at Spurs' next games. They've got Leicester, Liverpool, and then they play us. So that's a tough run, really tough run till they play us. And then we've got West Ham and Norwich, and then we play them. I hate that it's kind of swinging back round to in our hands. I feel like we definitely don't cave. I'm not going to say we cave under pressure at Arsenal, but we feel the pressure. Yeah, Norwich. Sorry, Leeds, not Norwich. Sorry, apologies, my bad. West Ham, then Leeds. Yeah, we still got to play now.
Yeah, no, we played Norwich twice. Yeah, so Leeds. So West Ham and Leeds, and then Tottenham. Even still.
Listen, first and foremost, we got the win over United, and the title says Man United out of it. Are they out of it? Do you think they're out of it? No,
mathematically they're not. And do I think they're out of it?
Get that out here!
I mean, after the performance I saw, they were horrendous. I know, don't get me wrong, they were unlucky considering they had many chances and the game could have gone another way. But the chance they had in defending for that first one, what I've seen of Man United and what I've heard as well from some sources, that how the morale of the club is and players are giving up, that makes me feel like it's unlikely they're going to.
They're out of it, man.
But mathematically, you're saying they're out of it. I'm saying from what as a fan, I think they're out of it. But it's still possible they can get fourth. But
yeah, mathematics is one thing, but football's another. They're 6 points behind us. We've got a game in hand. They've got Chelsea.
But a couple of weeks ago, you didn't believe we'll be.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. It is mad. But at the end of the day,
that's why I can't be solid on my opinion by saying they're definitely out, because football in these past couple of weeks has been nuts, bro.
It has been.
Absolutely nuts. What did you say about the goals recently? You said like a couple of weeks ago, do you see us scoring
after the Southampton game?
Yeah,
I said, do you see us scoring 10 in the last 7? Majority was no, and we scored 7 in the next 2. So it's hard to predict. Listen, even my post-match interview after the game against United this Saturday, I said to you, listen, I'm not saying we're in a top 4 race, but by the end of the day, when Tottenham drop points, we are actually leading that race, and everyone's coming to me like, how can you say we're not? Listen, I don't want the pressure, because it seems like any time we are leading the pack, that's when the pressure can seem to get to us. So listen, it is what it is. We are leading what seems to be the race at the moment, but like you said, it's mad. The only thing I think is Man United are out of it because they didn't capitalise fully when we was going through that 3-loss period.
Yep.
Tottenham actually did, but Tottenham have fluffed their lines since. United have been fluffing their lines throughout this season. They've mentally checked out, but you are right. In the game against us, if that game ended a draw, I don't think many people would have been shocked by that, because they had chances. They hit the woodwork a couple of times. They missed a penalty. So I think as much as they put up a fight against us at the Emirates on Saturday, the loss means they're out of it.
Yeah, no, I'm reluctant to say it right now, but it does seem like it. I think someone says a comment here said, LMG Bros 74 says Rannick said it himself.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Rannick's had enough as well.
He's finished. Yeah, he can tell. He can see the players have mentally checked out. It's going to be very interesting once Ten Hag takes over next season. I know he's still going to be involved in the club. It'll be interesting to see what changes happen there at United, because it needs a full clear sweep, really, a clean out in my opinion. But boy,
I don't know, man. There's been since Ferguson's left, there's been at least 3 times that I've thought Man United are turning the corner and they're going to be back to what they should be.
Did you think at the start of the season when they made them?
Of course, who didn't? When they finished second, and listen, they finished second in a season where Liverpool had a lot of injuries. Chelsea were going through a transition. It was kind of like a default finish, but at the end of the day, they was there. And then they go by Ronaldo, Varane, Champions League caliber players, winners. And then they bring in Sancho, one of the best young players in Europe. Of course, on paper, you think, shit. But,
I did.
Throw that paper out the window and you look at the season and none of them have been. Well, Ronaldo, what's he got? 16 goals in the league. You look at his age and you look at Man United's team. I think he's had a good individual season.
I agree with that.
But I also think he's had an impact on their overall style of play and their chemistry and all of that.
Do you think if he wasn't in the side, but do you really believe if he wasn't in the side that they'll be succeeding more than they are now?
But they are not. They're not succeeding. If Ronaldo didn't,
it feels like he's saved him. He's saved United loads of times. So
yeah, he has done. But at the same time,
is that to the detriment of?
A lot of Man United fans argue that bringing him in it was the wrong piece of the jigsaw.
Right.
And like I said, he's had a good individual season, but that good individual season hasn't led to a good team season. So. Essentially, as a fan, who gives a shit about an individual season? I don't care if my player gets a golden boot and we don't win the league, or we don't challenge, or we don't compete. Essentially, it is what it is.
Yeah, okay, it is what it is. Let me go into the game now. We're going to go in, obviously, to some of the talk about players as well within the game. We're going to give the full picture and get you guys comments as well. It's important that you guys are commenting, give us your thoughts. We'll be reading them out. But let me just speak about the comment that Scholes made about Arteta being a disgrace he checked a VAR decision that was being checked, and he was getting irate, as Arteta does on the sideline, and then he tries to cheer up the crowd, and Paul Scholes reacted by calling Arteta a disgrace. Now, for me, that annoyed me personally. I must admit, and just because I just think it's not need for him to say he's a disgrace just for that. He's trying to cheer up his crowd. He's trying to get on side. I think everything that Arteta does is very looked at in a lot of depth. Same with, I think, Arsenal in general. We get criticised for the most littlest things, and always get pundits saying negative things towards him. I think it was unnecessary that Paul Scholes called Arteta a disgrace just for cheering up the crowd and trying to get him on the side of our club.
Scholes is acting brand new. Scholes is acting like he didn't come up in an era where he was around multiple Man United players that, if he's deeming Arteta a disgrace for that, then he would have deemed them a disgrace for some of the things they'd done and said and produced over their time. Listen, Arteta, sour grapes.
Yeah, man.
Sour grapes. Because at the end of the day, listen, I love when a manager, fans connect to the point where, it feels like it's us against the world, and I just need it backed up with performances, results, and competition throughout the season. That's why I need it backed up. Look at Simeone against Man City, for example.
Yeah.
You know, the whole clapping thing he was doing with the fans.
Yeah.
A lot of people looked at that and dissed him and dismissed him and said he shouldn't be doing that. But for me, it's like, listen, he's got the fans on side, and he's using them.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you hear the fans are the 12th man? At the end of the day, in my opinion, all Arteta was doing there was, referees are swayed. Referees are swayed throughout games.
Oh, massively.
There's how many times do you see something happen where you think it's a foul, the ref doesn't even put the whistle to his mouth, but then as soon as three players turn to him, it's like,
oh yeah.
So they are swayed not only by fans but players as well. I think you need to have that dirtiness, the dirty tactics in you, and I don't even look at this as a dirty tactic from Arteta. I just think you're at home, the fans are on side. You're going for top 4 against a fellow Big Six rival, against potentially your greatest rival in well, not potentially, your greatest rival in Premier League history. Why not? Why not? So Paul Scholes saying what he's saying. Listen,
a lot of the fans are saying they agree with what you said there. It's just sour grapes, just being salty, man. He stick to toes, man. But it's just it's mad. Yeah, for me,
that's a disgrace. That's Paul Scholes, my guy. Scholesy. As a footballer, you're a legend. Yeah, quality footballer. But
player.
You are in no position to be calling our manager a disgrace
when you're biting
for trying to use the fans to win a decision when you're doing a madness on Instagram stories, my guy. You're doing a madness, Paul. Yeah, a lot, man. Hey, Keane, talk to your guy, Keane, man.
Keane must have imagine Keane's reaction to that. That must have been looking like, what's the doing, bro? But yeah, no, that's true. Sour grapes, man. They're just sour. I think they're seeing their club just really fall from a grace at the moment. United. I even think Bergkamp and Thierry Henry watching that game, looking at United, thinking, "Wow, how the times have changed." Actually, that's what I want to ask you as well, Turkish. You spoke about in your fan cam as well, like it's important for us to beat. From the era you grew up supporting Arsenal, it's important to beat United because of the rivalry and the history and all that. Does it? Just what you see now from that rivalry and the two clubs, we have dropped. Do you feel that? Did you feel like it was a weakened rivalry? Do you think it's not the same, especially for the fans growing up now as well? Like people call it the banter rivalry or the social media rivalry. Does it feel completely different? Does it just wash away a little bit some of the significance of the game?
Football's not the same.
Yes.
That's the first thing that's changed, right. And we will never get a rivalry like Arsenal United again. In this league anyway, not the way it is at the moment. You'll never get it. I don't know who was mentioning it recently, but Pep and Klopp, Man City, Liverpool, the rivalry is nowhere close to Arsenal United. Yeah. That was a fierce rivalry. But football's changed. You won't get that no more. You don't get that sort of physical nature of a game anymore. You don't
the build up,
you don't get
the aggression, everything. Yeah,
it's
all
tunnel moments between Keane and you don't get that anymore. It's pally. It's commercial now. So I think it's changed a lot. Even if you take out quality from it, if you bring into the quality, it's probably changed even more so than football itself. Because
has the quality improved though? I mean, it was not from the game, but I'm saying I agree with what you're saying there. But I had this question with someone like, I think football's completely changed. It's not the same as it used to be. But I did argue to say the quality has improved from like the likes of Liverpool, the Man City, the point scores, the way the football is moved on, how quick it is, the progression of like fullbacks being build up play. Like, has it improved? Maybe watching that Arsenal United game, I'm going to probably not actually, because I watched that game, the defending for that first goal. There's some moments, the missing of it. I was like, wow, the quality is pretty low. But
I don't think. What are you asking overall?
I don't want to do overall actually. Let's just stick to the
Arsenal's quality's definitely gone down from there. So is United's. That's a given.
Yeah.
United and quality just doesn't come down to how technical you are on the ball. Quality can come from your heart as well.
Oh, okay.
Because Roy Keane was quality. He's not the most technical. He was a very good football player that often goes under the radar because people talk about his physicality and his presence more than anything. But that's part of a quality on the pitch too. Yeah. It's just that it's not a quality that people want to see anymore because it's VAR, referees, soft nature of football nowadays. It's a contact sport, but don't touch him too hard. It's changed an awful lot. So football's changed. Arsenal, United have fallen off. It's fallen giants. But this season in particular, United are out of the top 4 race, and we seem to be firmly in it. I'll say firmly in it, which I didn't think. Listen, it's mad.
It's because a couple of weeks ago.
Bro, I don't know what people want from me.
Yeah, no,
after you lose 3 games in a row, you
yeah.
score 1 deflected shot from 30 yards, yeah, and these 3 teams are Palace, Brighton, and Southampton. What do you want me to think when Tottenham have gone and beaten, Aston Villa away 4-0? I thought it was over. I thought it was over. Even when we beat Man United, it's for me, it was still heavily reliant on Tottenham further dropping points before that Liverpool game,
right? Before
the North London derby, and they did straight away. So that's why I'm here again, and I'm a more positive about it. Carl, look, if you look at the table, that wasn't the table a week and a half ago. Do you know what I mean? So listen, you cannot. It's a roller coaster end to the season. I'm just happy we're there.
Amen.
Because in the conversation. It's the first time we've been in this situation for a little while, and happy being the key word, because it's not the be all and end all. It's the next step in order to realize the potential or the development of this process, or whatever buzzword they want to feed us. We need this step.
Yeah. I've got a super chat from Shref, said no opinions till EFC game. Arsenal can still implode. Paul Scholes, he's from United era where Fergie bought refs and bullied teams. What's Fergie time? Muppets. Fair enough. All right, I'm going to go into as well then. We're just going to quickly look at Mohamed El Neni. Just a nice brief conversation.
I was going to say Muhammad Ali. I was thinking, how do we go into this? But yeah.
We had a good weekend of sport, man. We enjoyed the boxing.
Big up El Neni, man.
Big up El Neni. We're going to go into him and just quickly go around some of the idea of, because there's been word that he's happy to stay at Arsenal for another season if offered an extension in his contract. And we spoke about it before the show, and I don't see a problem. Many fans may disagree, some people may have their own opinions, but giving an El Neni an extension in his contract, only because people, he's taking on players, doing step overs, sometimes scoring some bangers, but not doing the outland stuff. But he comes in, does a job, and I've been happy with El Neni, and giving him an extension, if he understands that we might be bringing in more midfielders to strengthen this Arsenal side. You're going to probably play the same role as you had for most of this season. Would you be happy to do it? I don't see a problem in giving him another contract. I think he's been vital for us as well in these current games that we've played with the departure of Thomas Partey due to injury. I think it's something that we have to look at as a fan base as well, and I would like to get your view on it and how everyone else feels on maybe El Neni get an extension. Would you guys see a problem in that? Obviously there's a talk of it's paying the players' wages and there's more money going out covering that. If you're going to offer him an extension, then bring in other players, would it be a waste of money? But for me personally, I think he deserves it.
Listen, every squad needs players that are humble, patient, don't mind sitting on the bench and called upon maybe once, twice, maybe 5 times a season. Yeah. Every squad needs that. Every squad, whether you're challenging for a title, challenging for top 4, or battling relegation. Yeah, I think you need that, because you don't know. Listen, players get injured. It's a part and parcel of football. You cannot strategically work out a season where this period you're going to have a fully strength side. You need to have backups, right? And the backups need to be people that are not going to disrupt the squad. They're not going to disrupt the order. They're happy to be there. And I see El Neni as that. I see El Neni as someone who's happy to be here. He over the last couple of games, he's done a job for us. He's done a job majority of the time he's come in and stepped in. Is it someone we should rely upon? No. But 4th, 5th choice centre mid, I wouldn't necessarily mind. He made comments recently about, if we want him, he'll stay. He loves it here. He's settled here and whatnot. But I also look at Xhaka and El Neni and I say to myself, one of them's got to go this summer, because I think we need a couple centre mids in to really push this process and development curve, the right way. Couple forwards, couple midfielders. Is
there an argument to say that if people are happy to keep on El Neni, then you'd be happy to keep on? There'll be some part of the family say, listen, Xhaka, if El Neni stays, Xhaka should stay as well, because Xhaka's, to some people, he's been imperative as well to this form as well, his turn of form. He's been great over the past couple weeks. So I know you say one or the other, but
that's a show. Listen, tomorrow, James and Dan Potts, they're going live around the same time. It should be 6 p.m. tomorrow. They're going to be discussing the El Neni contract more in depth. They're going to be discussing the Jesus rumours. Obviously, Ornstein's come out today and said something on his Twitter. So I don't want to delve too much into Xhaka and contracts today, because I'm quite positive off the back end of the weekend. Does that positivity mean that I'm clouded for the summer? We've got a lot of work to do in the summer, but at the same time, we've got a lot of work to do at the end of the season, because the light's been given to us at the end of the tunnel again. Let's do it. I mean, Tottenham, You know, like you said, their next few games, Leicester, Liverpool away,
then us at home.
If we can beat West Ham, if we can beat Leeds, I don't think Tottenham will win the next 2 games. Well, actually, against Liverpool, they're not winning the next 2 games.
Well, Turkish.
They're not beating Liverpool away from home.
They beat City?
Yeah, but they're not doing it twice. I can see, you know, people behind the camera just head in hands and whatnot. They're not beating Liverpool away.
You never do this.
They're not beating Liverpool away, bro.
Skullfuggery. I know you're
so
there.
So if we can do our job against West Ham and Leeds, potentially going into that North London derby, what are we, 2 points ahead now? We could be 4, we could be 5, 6 points ahead. You know, if we get 6 out of 6, we'll be on 66. If they lose 1 and win 1, they'll be on 61. 5 points difference even before that North London derby
which is I think what
that'll be perfect. That'll be good.
I was gonna say that's what I think fans need to take in is that point tally there. I think a lot of fans I speak with are looking at the Tottenham game to decide the 4th spot really, but it could be not fully decided, but you could have been in really good stead.
I know a lot of people want it to be decided in that game. I don't.
I
want it. Personally,
because of the pressure. Why? Because of you as a fan, or because you don't think the Arsenal side deal well with pressure?
No, because the Arsenal side this season have showed at different times they've dealt with pressure well. At different times they haven't dealt with it well. So it's different types of pressure.
Right.
At the end of the day, when you come to the business end of the season with such a young side, you know, tired legs, a lot of pressure on their shoulders throughout the season. Generally, young players tend to tail off towards the end.
Yeah.
So different types of pressures, different reasons behind it. But I just don't want to go into that Tottenham game needing a win. I'd rather go into that game knowing that a draw would be enough, but even a Tottenham win wouldn't have them, you know, overtaking us. That would be perfect for me.
Okay.
Perfect. I don't want that game to be a top 4 decider. I want Arsenal to decide it before that game.
That would be amazing. I think all fans, well, not all fans, because I know, like I said, a lot of fans are looking at North London derby as the game where it swings on. But I understand why, and I'm sure many people will, why you think, you know what, let's just get it kind of set up before.
Because if we get 6 out of 6, 66, right?
Yep.
And Tottenham win against Leicester and lose to Liverpool, 61. So that's 5 points.
Clear.
And the next game is North London derby after that, yeah? So let's just say Tottenham beat us in the North London derby. That goes back down to 2 points. Going into the last 2 games against Newcastle and Everton.
Oh, you'd fancy it.
So I want to go into that Tottenham game knowing that even an L, top 4 is still in our hands. It's still very much in our hands.
I think, from a player's perspective, I think that they would want that as well. And you'd prefer that less pressure on those last 2 games.
Of course, because then they'll be under the most pressure because that way they'll have to win at home. Otherwise, top 4 is done for them.
Yeah.
And then that way our young team might go in there, you know, chest out and nick it.
It's interesting you said about, you know, they've shown that Arsenal can win under pressure and sometimes they lose when they're not under pressure. It's interesting because the 3 games, obviously the Brighton, the Palace and the Southampton, was there masses of pressure on the team then? Because I'm still trying to figure out what kind of went wrong, and we're going to go and look at Lokonga playing in the midfield, Arteta making that decision that cost us one of the games there alone, and then not bringing in Xhaka and El Neni, which he could have probably done earlier, but instead he went with a Lokonga decision. It might have cost, actually, in my opinion, it definitely cost us. But yeah, there was no pressure on those 3 games. We didn't get the points. What's kind of changed? I feel like we beat Chelsea, and I think we beat Chelsea emphatically. I actually think we played well that game. It wasn't like it was, in my opinion, United. Yes, we won. Did we play great? Not, in my opinion, not really. But the Chelsea one felt different, and I'm just trying to work out what went wrong in those 3 games before that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. Before you give them though, quickly, people on the El Neni thing, just quickly. So George O'Brien says El Neni is a good squad player. I would keep him. El Neni does what it says on the tin, never disappoints. Says AFC Cape Town. Vitellano says El Neni should stay. Sell Lokonga. Bit harsh on the young man. But again, I think people are looking at Lokonga when he played. I believe it was against Brighton, and he was in that midfield. And it just didn't really work out.
Arteta just had to figure it out.
Right.
It's firefighting at this stage of the season. When you've got such a thin squad and then 2 big players get injured, not only big players, but 2 of the most experienced players, you've got to firefight the situation. It didn't work in the couple of games after Palace. Lokonga definitely was a part of that, the structure and the overall, it was a structure that I feel let us down when we lost Tierney and already having lost Tomiyasu. The drop in quality of the fullbacks is one thing, but the drop in the type of fullbacks we have is another thing. I think the type of fullbacks in Tomiyasu and Tierney both can slot into a free, so it allows the other one to kind of bomb up a bit.
Yep.
When you have Tavares and Cedric, both are not comfortable slotting into a free, so it's more open. Against United, listen, against United we won the game, but United had chances from both sides. Elanga from one side, Jadon Sancho from the other. There was problems. But Arteta's done his thing. Listen, at the end of the day, we've had to rely on Tottenham slipping up again, but Tottenham have also had to rely on us slipping up.
Big time.
So I'm not using it to discredit what Arteta's done or Arsenal being back in it. It's just been the nature of the league this season.
Same with United as well.
Just glad he's done it. Just, the first one, what was it? Holding coming in, Ben White going right back.
Yeah.
You could see he wanted the free to tuck in, allow Tavares to bomb up a little bit more. He went and reverted back to Cedric and Tavares for Man United game. Could have cost us, but it didn't. We won the game. Tomiyasu's back now. It was a pleasure seeing him come off the bench because we need him for the last few games of the season. So yeah, listen, credit to Arteta again, because there's been a few times this season where not only bad losses but big losses at times in the season where it can damage morale, damage consistency, but he's always managed to figure it out. He's figured it out again, but we're still missing Tierney and Partey. So just because he's figured it out doesn't mean it's plain sailing now.
Yeah.
We've got, 6 tough games to go.
Yeah.
Six? Five tough games to go.
Yeah, five.
Get the job done.
Okay, let's go to this debunking of this myth of, it's not even a myth actually, because it was fair when fans were saying this. Obviously, Arsenal haven't beaten a team. Listen, it was in the top 4, we'll say top 6, because United are in that top 6. Chelsea, obviously, top 4. City and Liverpool, for me, light years ahead right now of us personally. So, granted, we want to, and if I'm honest, no, actually, not even that. When we played City, I know we didn't win the game. We gave them a very good game. It was not like we rolled over and got beaten the hell out of. So it's just like, I think there's a kind of a myth there in a sense that Arteta is now proving, oddly, especially with the options he had in the Finn squad, that we beat Chelsea and I think we beat them convincingly. United as well. People will argue if it was a comfortable win. I wouldn't say it was, but we still beat them. So is it kind of a nod to Arteta to say, you're getting the job done? You're not going to forget about the 3 losses to Southampton, Brighton and Palace.
We'll forget about it if we make top 4.
No one will remember. No one will remember that.
Yeah, because that's the
nature of.
That's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah. But is it a nod to him to say this, and he's getting it done against the bigger sides? I mean, they're out of the question now. All it really is Tottenham, who we already beat earlier on this season.
The only way to get over that hump is to start beating them, and we have started beating them. What is it? Chelsea twice last season.
Yep.
United we beat once last season, was it?
Yeah, they beat us. We beat them. I think we beat them when
Partey on Nene. We beat United this season. We've beaten Tottenham this season. We've beaten Chelsea this season. Like you said, Man City and Liverpool, they're gone.
Yeah.
We played Liverpool 4 times, haven't scored.
To be fair, Liverpool are really,
they're machines. Man City and Liverpool, they're not just the team. The club is a machine. Both of them are machines. They're flowing, and they've been flowing for the last few years now. So it's going to take a hell of a lot to catch up to them.
Yep.
I actually think that until Pep and Klopp decide to pack it in,
we're not going to be.
Maybe. Listen, the levels they've set is mad.
It's crazy, isn't it? When you really think Turkish, like what do we need to be at that level? And I guess it's a top manager, which is either one of those two. Obviously, I know you're going to go to top manager. I know you're going to probably go to ownership as well. But it seems like there's more to it, because, like you said, I feel like they're just another level. Even recruitment. Even sorry to talk about another team, but Liverpool, Diaz, he was a find. I know there was what people knew about him, but bringing him into that side, how he played the other day, the things man control.
He's different. He's different.
I was just thinking, I was looking at Liverpool like, right, they got Jota and they turned him into. He was a good player, but I didn't expect him to be as good as he is. And then I see Diaz. I knew about Diaz, but he's still new, but he's got so much confidence in that Liverpool side. He's gonna be. Yeah,
because we can't look at Man City like. If you look at the way Man City done it, Arsenal can't do it like that. We haven't got the owners for that. True. We haven't got the funding. But if you look at the way Liverpool have done it, we can. That's the blueprint for any team that hasn't got an owner that is really ambitious.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool's owners aren't the most ambitious. They just made the right choices. Klopp made the right choices with the income he had from the Coutinho deal.
Yep.
And here we are.
And their scouting team's very good with the people they're bringing in.
But still, they're some way off all of us in the league. Not just Arsenal, Chelsea as well, United as well. So I think even our reputation against the big six teams and our record against them, all you can do is just, win a game, move on, win a game. When was the last time we beat two big six sides in a week? I can't remember that. So it's good to do it, but let's get over the line as well, because you want something at the end of the season. So when you look back at it, you look back at the development and the good phases of the season. That season ended with not something special because it's not a league, not success because we're not winning anything, but an indicator that you're taking the necessary steps to get to where we want to get to. Is it going to happen? None of us can say for sure if it's going to happen. None of us could even say if Conte came in last summer, it was going to happen.
True.
It's just about filling the fans with more hope. But top four this season were definitely 98% of the fan base would be happy with that. And I say 98% because you're still going to get a couple percent that still,
100%. I saw on a fan cam this week, Robbie did a fan roundup and a fan said even if we get top four, I want Arteta gone, and he gave his points. But there's always going to be maybe a percentage as well. But I think a lot of people would be from how this season's gone. I mean, we're not really in anything else, so top four is kind of it's that or bust for me.
Because we've seen good things this season.
Yes.
But if you don't finish top four, no one's going to look back at this season and say, "Yeah." No one.
Yeah, they're not necessarily youngsters. They were Project Youth really were.
It's about what you produce at the end of the season.
Yeah, very true. Right, we're gonna go to the comments now.
Let's look at some of the comments. 2.3k here. People, hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button already. Let me see how many likes we're on. Let's get it up to 1,000 likes, people, nice and early. Yeah,
please, just hit the like button. Does a huge favor. Please do that. I'm gonna go to your comments now and get your thoughts as well, because we're kind of giving out a lot of the news and topics that we discussed in the ticker as well. Pryank says we need to win the next two and 3 draw for Champions League. Sounds so easy, right? Have you seen young Haaland rocking in Arsenal jersey? Can we dream?
I saw that picture.
I didn't see that photo. What was he wearing?
But listen, people don't listen. Don't look too much into that. We had a guy that
let them dream.
We had a guy
let them dream,
that was sitting down on his bed wearing Arsenal gear, only to tell us that the little boy inside him told him to sign for United. Don't listen to these, man. Just take it as it comes, people.
We got NN says Turkish, don't get too brave before you get clipped again. I think he's talking about, obviously, you said
I gotta live though, man. It's top four, innit? At least it's not like we're challenging for a league title. It's top four. For God's sake, Arsenal, come on, let's get the job done now, man. I need to rip Tobes on the big six.
People are talking about Guendouzi here. Duoplex1 says Guendouzi is gone, boys. Deal was agreed. So move on. I think he's talking about. I think he's just talking about within the chat. I think he's talking to people speaking about that against Guendouzi. Obviously, Saliba might be returning next season. Right, there's going to be some headache there for centre-back partnerships and pairings there as well. It'll be interesting to see what Arteta goes with next season once he returns.
Edu has talked about the recent plan and whatnot, so they've got something up their sleeve. So listen, I want top four just so they have the best possible platform to get these plans in place and executed.
Best of XQC says Cecil, we lost those games before because we played Lokonga instead of El Neni. I know we briefly spoke on it, but
don't get it twisted. Listen, I know Lokonga didn't live up to expectations, but it's not like if we didn't play Lokonga and played El Neni, we guarantee the win. Don't let the last 2 games fool us. Now, El Neni has performed, and I've given him the man of the match in both games. But let's not think that just because if Lokonga came out and El Neni was put there, it wouldn't necessarily work.
Right, and do you know what? You're right in what you said there. Arteta's firefighting, really. He's just trying to put out fires where he can, and El Neni wasn't the gleaming answer to this. So I understand why he played Lokonga and tried Lokonga. It was his player. He brought him in. He's in the side because Arteta wanted him. So I understand Lokonga playing before El Neni. So that comment there, chill out, no one was saying El Neni is definitely the right choice. Obviously we're seeing that now, but no one would have thought that before.
We do that too much as Arsenal fans. If for example, El Nene now. It's like, if El Nene played those games, how many times has Xhaka been missing? It's like, if Xhaka played those games, or
if Eddie Nketiah came in earlier, he would be scored.
We're good at doing that, but the reality is we don't know for sure what's going to work. It's all opinions at the end of the day. Nothing is facts when us fans are speaking. It's all our opinions based off of what we've seen.
Right.
And
we're trying to give every angle and just look at it in different ways. But you can never say, like you said, well, if he did it earlier, because no one was saying it. Like, let's be real here. We're kind of coming towards the end. Any closing things you want to say off the back of the weekend? Obviously, United pretty much out of it. I'm smiling because it has been a great weekend. We spoke about we got the win against United. We went and watched the Foxes. Tottenham drew. Like, it's been a good weekend. Anything you want to touch on kind of before we close off? Your last final thoughts, and then if there's any comments as well, I'll read them off before we end the video.
Last thoughts. It's mad. It's mad that we're still in this top 4 race, but listen, it's ours now to take. We are there 2 points ahead. We get the job done in the next 2 games. I believe that North London derby doesn't have as much behind it as we might think it will come that time. Let's just get the job done.
Okay.
2 wins out of 2, and the rest will take care of itself.
That's it. I think that's a good way to end it as well. 2 wins out of 2, and the rest does take care of itself. Now, there's a comment here at the bottom from Sayrat10 says, missed my super chat, and I believe that one was about just quickly your striker, like who you'd want to see come in as a striker at the end of the season. Obviously this show wasn't massively topic on strikers. I believe you said there is going to be a contract live tomorrow, and they may give you some striker options, but I know there's a lot of names floating about. You've given many names as well in previous videos.
And the reality is, until we know Champions League or Europa League, there's no real point in getting for targets, because it's hard to really say. I might say I want Martinez now, but if we don't make Champions League, is that realistic? I might say I want Felix now. If we don't make Champions League, is that realistic? So there's something still to fight for. Over the next few weeks, we're definitely going to be delving into targets for that striker position, targets for the centre mid position, other positions across the team might need looking at. We'll look into all of that, but first and foremost, we need to know what competition we're in next season.
Yeah, agreed.
That's massive.
I think that's where it massively comes down to. But like you said, how you ended, football is mad, but we're still in the race. Let's hope the boys can get it over the line. Hopefully in the next 2 games we get that full spot. Thank you for watching us live, the AFTV React, and we'll see you again tomorrow. See you then.